Alright everybody, so today I'll be making the American M3 Stuart. The M3 Stuart was an American light tank used in World War II. The M3 was used throughout the war and was also supplied to British forces. This tank was one of 3 tanks that I took to Zion National Park. If you want, you can check out the Zion video that I made on my channel. Anyways, there's nothing left to say about this tank, so let's just get on to the tutorial. To start off this tutorial, here's a picture of the M3 Stuart. And if you're wondering about the M5 Stuart, I won't be making a tutorial on that because the M5 and the M3 Stuarts look pretty similar. As always, I'll start off with the base of the tank. For this I cut out straight pieces of cardboard and glued them in different angles according to the geometric shape of the tank. At first I thought this tank would be really easy to make, but since this tank has a lot of rugged and weird shapes, it took me a long time to get the shape right. I ended up making this kind of shape. After that I cut out pieces for the sides. All you gotta do is just trace the sides on a piece of cardboard and cut out the pieces. Now it was time to make this top thingy. To make it, I cut out pieces to make this octagonal shape. The important thing here is that you want the angled parts to hang off the tank. Then I glued on a flat piece for the back. Now for the turn mechanism. For this I glue on a top piece for the octagonal thingy. Then I cut a dime-sized hole into the tank. I use a knife because I wanted to keep the circle that I cut out. Then I glue the circle that I cut out onto this bigger circle. And to make sure the glue has a good bond, I use my knife to scratch up both of the surfaces before I glue on the pieces. This ensures that the tank turret won't come off. Now to make the turret. Since the front of the turret is actually angled, I had to make that too. For this I cut out this rectangle with an angled front. Then I glued on this front piece. After that I cut out the rest of the pieces for the turret. Then I scratched up the surfaces under the turret and glued it onto that smaller circle thing I made. And now it should smoothly turn. After that I secured on the top piece. And now it was time to make the tank wheel coverings. The main reason you want the top piece to hang over the tank is because the tank covering should go right under that. And make sure to make the wheel coverings curved as in the picture. And it was at this time that I realized that the tank was a little bit too tall. When I compared this tank to my other tanks, it towered above all of them, which doesn't look right because this is a light tank. So I had to fix this. So what I did was I just cut the tank in half with a knife. And by trimming some of the pieces of the body of the tank, I was able to make the tank look a lot smaller without damaging it in any way. Now that the main tank was finally done, I added on the actual gun. To model that spherical thingy on the front of the turret, I glued on this circle, and then I got a cocktail stick which would be the actual gun of the tank. Then I put a ton of hot glue on the end of the cocktail stick. And since the hot glue was a little liquidy, I was able to achieve this spherical thingy on the tank. It's basically a lot like glass blowing if you know what that is. Then it was time to add the details for the tank. For this I just glue on a bunch of scraps to make the tank look less smooth and more mechanical. One big detail I added were these little machine gun ports. For the machine guns, I just used little toothpicks and put them on each side. I also cut out these visor holes into the tank with a knife. Now that the main part of the tank is done, it's time to add the wheels. For the wheels, I used foam board from the dollar store because they're thicker than normal cardboard, which means they're better for thicker wheels. Now it's time to make the tracks. For the tracks, I just used this peeled up cardboard. When you peel thicker cardboard like this, you get these corrugated pieces, which are really good for tank tracks. I cut out these corrugated strips and glued them together to make the strip of tank tracks. Then I painted the tracks a brownish black. After I was done painting the tracks, I painted the whole entire tank. For my tank, I painted it a saturated green. After all the paint was done drying, I painted on this American star on the tank. I just thought it made it cooler. After everything was relatively dry, I glued on the tracks. And now you're basically done. So, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed these how-to videos, I have a lot more coming, so stay tuned. And I'm also working on another big animation, so look out for that too. Finally, thank you all for watching.